Guys, haven't made a video in a long time. Been really busy. Studying for my professional engineering exam coming up in like 2 weeks, so hopefully I can pass that first time through. Otherwise, it's gonna be another 6 months. I have to wait. So anyway, here's a Dell XPS13 that I recently bought. I wanted to show kind of like a review with it running Linux. I have Antergos on here installed. Installed fine, but I did have to switch it to legacy boot. I'm sure it would work with UEFI, but I didn't want to put the effort in. So I installed it and it didn't boot. It was just saying there was nothing there. So it seems like the BIOS or whatever wasn't seeing the UEFI partition. So I just switched to the legacy. It worked just fine. So I'm sure there's a way to get UEFI working, but I don't know if there's any benefit to doing it that way. I think legacy works just fine. Anyway, I put Antergos on here. Another thing I did was I bought an Intel wireless card. This is the old one, but I bought one of those on eBay for about 23 bucks from China. It took like 2 weeks to ship, but I replaced the one in here. It wasn't hard at all. You just flip it over, take like 10 screws out, and then the only issue was, so these are actually a lot smaller than you expect. I thought it'd be a mini PCIe because I've opened up laptops before. These are even smaller than mini PCIe. These are tiny. Like, let me, in comparison to a mouse. So you can see that it's pretty darn small. But yeah, so I got the Intel one instead of the default Broadcom one that I'm assuming all the American models would come with. The Intel one works out of the box without needing any drivers for Linux. So yeah, the only issue is see how this one. I don't know if you can tell there, but there's basically two antennas next to that screw on the left and right of it. The Intel one had both the antennas on the right side. So the antennas inside the case are pretty tight, so I had to like kind of rewrap them almost, take some tape off and rewrap it. But it works fine. I'm getting about 90 megabits per second across this, and that seems to be bottlenecked by the Wi-Fi because my desktop, which is wired, gets the full whatever 150 I get in my house. I think I tested on my wife's Mac before, and I feel like she's gotten over that. Maybe she's gotten about 100, but yeah, I'm not sure what the limit is on my Wi-Fi. I'm only getting 70, but I'm normally getting, yeah, around 70 to 100, or 70 to 90. That's the Wi-Fi. Yeah, so basically I got this. I put the Intel card. I bought this on eBay used for about 605 bucks. So it was pretty darn cheap. I actually bought one of these new when it first came out for my wife to switch her off her Mac, but it was just too hard for her to switch. And I didn't do the Wi-Fi at the time, and I left it on Windows just to have her test it out before I switched it up, before I reinstalled Linux on it, because I was thinking, okay, I might return this because I bought it from Microsoft and had like 2 months to return it. And the Wi-Fi just kept cutting out. I didn't know at the time you could switch an Intel card in there and make it work better. But the Broadcom one sucked. That was on Windows. It sucked, and she just used it one day at school and got really frustrated. I didn't want to slow her down while she's doing work, so I didn't want to even mess with her. Currently, she's using a MacBook, but once she's done with school, I'll just switch her to probably one of these or another laptop and put Linux on it. Yeah, what else? Yeah, basically I used the Arch wiki thread for the XPS13 2015 edition and just did the power tweaks, and I'm getting about, you can see there it says 6 hours at 50%. I guess it depends on your brightness, but yeah, so that's a little bit over 10 hours, but I don't know if it ranges like what that estimation is. Like it's usually at around 9 hours is the guess, like of 100% charge. Right now it's going over 10, but I don't know if I can believe that, maybe because I'm not doing anything. But usually it's around 9 hours. So battery life is great on this thing. It has a backlight keyboard, though it's pretty bright when you're in a dark room. There's like that 100%, 30%, and off. And I feel like even the 30% is kind of bright, but I've never had backlit on any keyboards. Even my mechanical one over there is just a regular $50, whatever, Corsair one. Yeah, so the backlit keyboard works great. A mouse works great in Linux. I have a feeling that it might not have worked as well earlier in the year, but like as soon as I got this, I installed the A05 BIOS, A05, and apparently I think that had some fixes. They have an A06, which is supposed to fix some keyboard repeat issues, though I don't know if I've noticed any of those. yet. So yeah, one thing I did notice was full screen flash wasn't working great, though I think YouTube doesn't use flash by default. So yeah, let me see. But it works fine on my desktop, so it might just be because my desktop has an NVIDIA card. This has the built-in Intel. Yeah, so if you have any questions, go ahead and put in the comments. See, you can see there. Oh, well, now it's even higher estimation, saying 9 hours for 50%. So I don't know if you can believe that thing. But yeah, basically I have Arch on here. This is the cheapest model. This is the i3 version, 128 gig SSD. The SSD apparently isn't an NVMe disk, but I think it might work. So if you really want to get like the fastest, you could get like an i7 version of this and do all that. But my laptop is, I only got this because I took a class for my PE test, and I was like at the class sitting there for 8 hours, and I was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna be doing this kind of stuff, or sometimes I go on work trips too, and I need a laptop. Like I think I had a netbook that I ended up selling. Like that's not. It was so slow when I tried booting it up the other day when I was in that class. So I needed something that at least just worked. So this works fine. Wasn't too expensive. Cost me about $630 all in all. I did buy a case actually too, so that's coming in the mail. So other than that, yeah, it works well. Suspend works great. Power works great. Linux works awesome on this thing. It has this like little power button over here where you can push it if it's off and check the power without having to turn the screen on. It's hella hard for me to push because I have big fingers. There you go. So you can see it has 3 out of 5. Yeah, so it's at 50%, so I guess that's a decent estimation. So yeah, speakers are good on it. I get the 1080p screen because it's matte. I didn't want a touchscreen. Okay, let me put my password in. But even with the 1080p at the 13 inches, it's kind of like, it's pretty constrained. Let me show you what 100% zoom would look like. You can see it's pretty darn small. It's kind of hard to read things because the pixel density is too high. So I usually up it on Firefox, and in Gnome's tweak tool, I did this fonts, and then I set this to 1.25. Sorry, my alarm. But yeah, set this to 1.25, and that makes the rest of the UI, like all this stuff, look fine. So for the most part, everything looks good. This stuff looks kind of weird. Like I have my own cloud and I have my flux, and the flux just looks weird. This thing's super tiny, so it's not scaling. This thing looks bigger, but you can tell it's kind of like pixelated. So probably because I upped the text size. So yeah, for the most part, this isn't like super high DPI. It's not Retina, but it is 1080p. It's at 13 inches. Like it looks okay, but if you don't scale it, things are small. I think it works fine though. Crap, let me do. Yeah, here's a Google search. This is at the 133 though. I think it's kind of keeping that as the standard now. For the pages, not for the Firefox icons. I up these and then things just start getting wonky. Like when you click on here, these are like all unaligned and stuff. So for Firefox, basically just can up the pages. The GUI elements you just have to be able to see. I don't know how that would work on like the Retina version of this thing, which has probably like 4 times the pixels, but I think it might be 4K. But yeah, this one works fine. So yeah, this laptop's great. Battery is good, so you can see it dropped right there because I guess I'm using it. So it's now at like averaging 8 hours, but usually I'm getting around 9-ish, 9 plus. So yeah, really recommend this laptop if you want to install Arch on it, or I don't know if other Linux distros working as well. But yeah, I recommend this. You can get good battery life if you tweak it, and Wi-Fi works great, and pretty much anything I'm using it for works well. So I don't see a reason not to get this if you need a laptop and you like 13 inches. So all right, I'll see you guys later.